Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Report. I'm super excited to be here, guys. It's week 3. We're here. Last week was an awesome week for you guys who played the Jared Goff, Adunze, Caleb Williams, St. Brown plays. I was all over that game, so I was super happy to come away with some change this week. Keep this train rolling throughout the year. Um, yeah, last week was crazy. Had some good sweats and a couple single entries. I think I placed 14th in the, I think it was the 150K or 170K um, single entry. I think there's like 29,000 people in that one. So I did okay. Could have done a lot better. I just didn't have the Jared Goff in that play. I was on Caleb Williams a little more than Jared Goff, but I still love Jared Goff last week. Loved St. Brown. Really loved Adunze. I think Adunze was I think I had him in like 65% of my lineup. So I went a little crazy overboard, but sometimes when you get the feeling, you just got to play it. So, we'll jump into this week. We're going to do our 5 under 5. You guys really seem to enjoy that segment of the show. Tomorrow we'll have our live stream, of course, 10 o'clock. Be there, be square. We'll be just going over some lineups and some bets and different things you guys have in mind. But without further ado, let's go and get started. So this week, quarterbacks, we're going to do a 5 under 5%. So for you, if you guys are new here and you don't understand, we do a 5% players under 5% ownership, 5 of them in 5 different positions. Well, technically 4, but 5 and 5 sounds good. So first off, we have Sam Darnold this week. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks of the week. I think he's a good play. Where's he at, Sam Darnold? Yeah, he's only pulling 4% ownership against the Saints team at $5,100. I know you guys are going to be super mega chalk on your Carson Wentz and your what's his name, Marcus Mariota. I don't mind Mariota. 7%'s a little steep for my liking on Mariota, but I don't hate it. Like I said last week, dude, if you got these DFS bros are really starting to get unhinged here. Okay, we cannot play 20% Hollywood Brown. I'm telling you that you can't do it. Everyone and their brother was saying play Hollywood Brown, play Hollywood Brown. I didn't play any Hollywood Brown, and I liked it. I went ahead and switched over to Tyquan Thornton. Bang, bang, bang. He got that bomb in the end of the game. Of course, it was a little crazy. He actually had 2 bombs he should have had. So the Tyquan Thornton was the better play, in my opinion. I think he got him at $3,700 compared to Hollywood Brown's 52. Yeah, bad chalk, DFS bros, bad chalk there. But the Hollywood Brown play failed, which I kind of figured it would. I don't like playing Hollywood Brown, and I'm not playing him. Ever again, probably. I don't like him just as a player. He's never done anything for me, so I'll stay off the Hollywood Brown. Also, I don't know how many times we can keep going back to this. Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, this. Brenton Strange, he's a great tight end. No, they're not, guys. I'm sorry to break the news. I will not be playing the Trevor Lawrence, Brenton Strange stacks, DFS bros. Count me out. I'll stand by that. I'll live and die by that sword. If you want me to play Brenton Strange every week, go ahead. I'm not. So don't really like Brenton Strange or Trevor Lawrence this week. Shout out to you DFS bros who keep pushing the Trevor Lawrence narrative. Don't love it. Don't like him. Don't want to be anything with that Jacksonville team other than Travis Etienne. That's the only plays I'll be getting in the defense. I don't like playing Trevor Lawrence. If you guys did not see the monstrosity of this past Sunday, T-Law should have been picked probably like 2 more times. It was a terrible play. Brian Thomas dropped every ball came his way. A lot of confusion going on. T-Law is having some disputes with his his head coach there. But whatever. We're not playing that narrative. I don't like him, so we'll leave it at that. But back to our plays. Sam Darnold, awesome play at 4% ownership. Now, a sneaky play I really think this week could be under-owned in a game that we like is Geno Smith versus this Washington Commanders team. If you flip over to your tight ends, Brock Bowers is pulling less ownership. 18% Trey McBride. No, thank you. I'll go to Brock Bowers. I know he's a little bit more expensive, but Gino loves him, and we love playing tight ends against this Washington secondary, I feel like they play a lot of man. Brock Bowers does a really good job in man. So I think Geno locks in on him this week, and he's leveraged over your Jacoby Myers at 14%. Quarterbacks, Geno, yeah, I love Geno this week. I think he's an awesome play. Penix is another good sneaky play. Down here at 1% ownership, 5,600, a little expensive. In my opinion, he should be around that $5,300 range. So should Sam Darnold. I think he's underpriced. But at Penix is direct leverage over Bijan at 20% ownership. Drake London's like 9 or 10% ownership. Darnell Mooney's probably no ownership. So I don't hate the Penix play. I think he's a good play. Just for ownership purposes on this slate, I'm not going with this super mega chalk, and we'll get to the game later. Spencer Rattler, another interesting play, had 3 touchdowns last week. The Rattlesnake. I'm not out on him. I kind of thought I was at the first of the year, but I haven't. I mean, he's playing decent ball. Like, he's not playing amazing like Josh Allen football, but Spencer Rattler's a decent quarterback, I think. His rushing upside, or for fantasy at least, his rushing upside is huge. He only had 14 yards last week, but we know he can cut it loose if given the opportunity. He's just locking in on Juwan Johnson, which I love Juwan Johnson this week again. But Spencer Rattler there at 4,900. If you want to spend up, get off that Carson Wentz chalk, get off that Marcus Mariota chalk, go to a Spencer Rattler at 4,900. No ownership, no ownership. I think it's a good play. We'll get to his receivers because I have one of them in my list. Quarterback wise, we have Drake May. Another awesome play here at 5% ownership, $5,300. Love it. If you want to play a cheap quarterback, he's your play this week. I think Drake May, Sam Darnold, Spencer Rattler. Those 3 guys are amazingly cheap. I'm having decent luck going with cheap quarterbacks. So I'll keep going there until it proves me otherwise. Another quarterback that's really interesting, pulling no ownership, especially for your GPP plays, is Aaron freaking Rodgers. If Christian Gonzalez is out this week, count me in on Rodgers. I will be over the weight. I will be probably 17 to 19% Rodgers. I really love Rodgers this week. Easy to stack, especially with a cheeky Jonnu Smith pulling no ownership either. Rodgers is an awesome play against this Patriots team. If you want to play either one, I want every piece of this game. We'll get to the running backs too. Not so much on Jalen Warren, but we'll get there. Another quarterback that I have to mention. I was on him last week. Well, 2 quarterbacks that I was kind of on last week, but one heavy that I'm not on this week. Caleb Williams, 13% is too much. $5,600. He's priced up. You're not getting that bang for your buck there anymore. Good game environment. Should be good game, but if this game fails, a lot of people are going to be in a rock and a hard place. So yeah, I like Dak better, just for a little bit more leverage on the game. I like the Dallas side of the ball a little better, I think. But who knows? I mean, it could be a back and forth affair. Probably will be. But in Chicago, I like Dak on the road here. I like for them to kind of keep it competitive here. So I like Dak, of course, with sneaky wide receiver we'll get to. Stay tuned. So wide receivers, we'll jump over there. So that was 7 quarterbacks. Dak and May are kind of like honorable mentions, but I still like them. Really like Rodgers. Really like Darnold. We'll probably say if Gonzalez is out, Rodgers will be my highest owned quarterback this week, I think. Darnold behind him and Geno behind that. So if we jump to our receivers here, we're not going to go. I mean, of course, you got to play JSN. Awesome play, especially with your Darnold stacks. I love it. 20% ownership's a little high. It's a little high, but the target volume's there, so I don't hate that play. Roma Dunze at 16%. I'm off this week. I'll pivot to a DJ Moore or DeAndre Swift and play the other side of that game. Yeah, and I'm not digging this 16% ownership at $5,300 for Dunze. I loved him last week because he was at like 46 or 4,700, but this week he's been priced up accordingly, which we figured would happen. So give me DJ Moore if you're going to go that game at $5,400 more. less ownership. So yeah, I like DJ Moore to score this week too. So anytime bet's interesting there. So our first receiver we have on our list is Devontae Smith. I was on him last week. He got banged up, had some opportunities through the air. I think this game keeps competitive, so I think they might try to eliminate um, this running approach because they've been, beating towards it. But I don't know. I really like Saquon this week. I like both offensive players from both sides. Devontae Smith, though, is interesting to me at 5% ownership at a $5,300 price tag. He's also in that same realm as um, Adunze. I think he could probably outscore Adunze. That's just me being honest. I like that game a little bit better. At this 44.5 total, I think this is a better game environment. But I don't know. I have a weird feeling this week, so I'm not going super heavy. I'm not going to play a lot this week, like super heavy. So I just don't have a good feeling this week. If you guys are ever in that mode, don't think you had to play every week. You can play light some weeks and heavy other weeks. If you have a good feel in the week, like last week, I was heavy last week, and I had a good feel. So if you got a good feeling, go for it. But don't think you had to play every week. When I first started playing DFS, that was one of my mistakes, was thinking you had to play heavy every week, and you don't. This is a 18-week long season, not counting showdowns and Super Bowls. So don't think you have to play heavy every week. Yeah. So jumping on to our next receiver, we have Marvin Harrison at 4% ownership, $5,600. Good game environment, straight leverage over your boy Treasy McBride. Don't love that play, but I do like Marv at 5,600, 4% ownership. I think he's an awesome play right there. Another player, we have George Pickens at 5,900. You're spending up a little bit, but you're getting a better game environment. You're like in that 3% ownership compared to your boy CD. Where's CD at? He's up there. 14% on CD at 8K. I won't be getting a lot of that. I'll just go down and I'll play Pickens. Pickens is due, man. His air yards is crazy. They're wanting to get him cut loose, and I think this is the game he does against the Chicago secondary, who's severely banged up. $5,900 George Pickens at 3% ownership. I love it. I can't get enough of. I'll be honest. I can't get enough of Pickens this week. I think Pickens is awesome play. Love Pickens for an anytime as well. Another player we have here who's going severely underowned. This is going to be a dynamic play here. I think this is the one that really opens up our salary room. If we think he can get there, which I think he can, the targets are always there for him. And if Tucker Kraft doesn't play this week, go ahead and give me Romeo Dobbs at $4,800, 3% ownership, awesome play. I don't think Josh Jacobs is able to run the ball. I think they're forced to throw the ball. I think they're going to eliminate the run game, kind of like what they did with Henry last week. So go ahead and give me Romeo Dobbs at 3% ownership. $4,800. And if you go right below him, another good place, Dotavian Wicks, 37. If you want a super punt, 2% ownership. Um, you know, I don't want to say a better play. I like Dobbs a little bit better just for the sheer target volume that we'll see. But Dontavian Wicks should see, a little bit more if Tucker Kraft is out. So I like those two Green Bay receivers there. We'll jump to another cheapie. I like this week again. I was on him last week. Go and give me Ayamanor. I can never get his name correct. At $3,700, 2% ownership. Awesome for your GPP plays. Ayamanor is an awesome play at $3,700. Sorry for butchering his name. Sixth, we have Quentin Showtime Johnson. I know he's been on like this magnificent run for the past several weeks. Where's he at? 5,400. Where's Quentin Johnson? I'm going to search it probably. He's probably down there. He's not pulling no ownership this week. Everyone's on McConkey or Keenan Allen, which is understandable, but for some reason it's delayed. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what I feel with I don't know why my keyboard is lagging out right now. If we can exit out of that, let me reset it and see what happens. Okay, we'll just have to hand find him. I know he's at 5,400. Yeah, Quentin Johnson, 2% ownership, $5,400. I love it. Direct leverage ship over. Can someone explain this to me this week? Where's he at? 15% Keenan Allen. No, thank you. The targets have been there, but against this Denver D, I don't really know. I'll just go for a Quentin stab. Pay a little bit more, 5,400, but Keenan's okay, I guess, at 47, 15% ownership, but I don't love it. I really like Quentin Johnson. I think he keeps it up. I think he's the wide receiver to the deep ball threat here. Um, yeah, I just think he's a much better play, in my opinion. Quentin Johnson, awesome play there. I don't want to go by ownership. Um, oh well, we'll have to live without it. So another player we really like this week is Stephon Diggs at 4,800, 3% ownership. This game I think is going to go over this total. I really like either side of the ball here. Stephon Diggs, I kind of playing a little narrative. He's having a kid with, I think it's Cardi B, or Nicki Minaj, one of the two. Stephon Diggs this week, 4,800. I think he's in a good spot. Hasn't really seen that uptick yet in the lock one from Drake May, but I think it's coming. It's a boomer bust type of week for Stephon Diggs at 3%, but I do like 3% receivers just because it's so volatile. You don't really. It's hard to predict what will happen in the receiver position. Jamar at 6% is abysmal to me. 8,100. A little bit better game environment, I think, than some of these higher priced teams, players. Puka at 77, it's eh. Jay Jettas is okay, but he's a little higher owned. Just go ahead and give me in that game. Just go ahead and give me where's he at? Just literally lost him. Jamar Chase. 6% ownership, $8,100. The target volume is going to be there. We've seen it last year or the year before last. Whenever Joe Burrow was out, he locked on to Jamar. Really love Jamar at 8,100. Target volume is going to be there. Awesome cash play this week. But I think just if you're thinking pure ceiling, I think he could get in the box and give you like 15 touches, probably 14 touches on like 15 targets. It's possible. So Jamar Chase, tournament type play. I really like him. 8,100. Is it a week you spend up for receiver? I don't know. I really like the running back schedule for this week, but it's a little bit more trickier. Another player we like this week, pulling no ownership, is Tatori McMillian. 7% ownership, 5,900. I think he's a pretty good play for your targets. If he gets in the box, he's really going to open things up. I think he can really see a 24-point game. I think Tatori McMillian can see one of those type of games if he gets in the box. He's seeing the volume. I like this game to go back and forth, really. I think it's a divisional game, so I like Carolina to kind of keep up a little bit here with the Falcons. But awesome play there, Tatori McMillian. Another player we're going to talk on. I know this is like 10, but these are players I really like for tournaments this week. Where's he at? Where's Shaheed? I think this is a Shaheed week. Rashid Shaheed, 4,600, 1% ownership. Love that play this week too, guys. I think that's a quiet game in a sense. The Seahawks and New Orleans game. Olave's a little bit more expensive. I'll just go down to a Shaheed, less ownership. Shaheed's an awesome play. And then honorable mention, we'll have Drake London. If you're not going to play a Bijan, go with a London at 6K. It's pretty good leverage over him, with a Penix stack. Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts is awesome this week. So, don't mind him either. If we want to get to our running backs, which we haven't discussed yet, we have Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt showing up at 2% ownership, $5,500. I think he's an awesome play if you want a cheap running back there. Good game environment. I think it could be a back and forth. I think the total could go over, but I don't mind JCM against the Raiders. Another running back we have, and I was on him last week, and he had an awesome game, 21 points, fantasy points last week. He was one of my 5 under 5 last week. Ramondre Stevenson. Just the pass volume is going to be awesome. He needs to get in the box to really break open the slate, but If we're wanting to pivot off this Jordan Mason 30%, 40% ownership, this is how you do it. You go to a $5,300 Ramondre Stevenson for your savings. Hopefully, it gets in the box for you this week. 1% ownership, definitely a tournament type play, but $5,300 Ramondre is always going to be open for me. Really don't hate it. Another spend up. If we want to go 6K, Brees Hall, I think it's a little cheap for his pricing, but Tyrod's under the helm. So maybe you're thinking some dump offs to Brees, a little bit more involvement from Brees against this Tampa Bay defense, who's not that great, really. So yeah, Brees Hall, 6% ownership. Really love that play. Bijan's an awesome play. I just think he might be a little overowned, but there's also weeks where I've had like Bijan's been a had to have it player. I think one week he scored like 38 and then 40. So he's a kind of have to have it player. Awesome work usage. The pass game, you're seeing like 8 targets a week for Bijan so far. So I really like this play at 20%. Saquon is interesting to me at 12%, 7,800. We've seen what he can do against this LA team. He can definitely break a slate with a 40 burger. So Saquon's definitely in my player pool. 12% ownership. I'll be pretty heavy on him this week. Another interesting player I think is Kamara, pulling little to no ownership at 6,300. Like I said, I really like this game. So Kamara's an awesome value play at 6,300. If he gets in the box, we're talking. So maybe you think Kamara gets in the box this week. I think he might. I really like a 7% Kamara. If we jump over to our tight ends, like I said before, Kyle Pitts is one of my favorite tight ends on the week. Zach Ertz is probably in the pool as well. I wouldn't say he's I won't be super heavy on him, but I do like Zach Ertz this week. I don't want to sort by ownership. How can I just reset this? Frustrating. So Zach Ertz is definitely in play. For me, my favorite tight end of the week, and we'll give it to you raw here. It's probably going to be Brock Bowers. I like that game for some reason. I like Brock Bowers at 7% ownership. I think if he's healthy, he can really dominate this game. As a spend up option, he's definitely one of my favorites. But if you're looking for a spend down, you want to go for your thrift store value type of tight ends. This is where I like to live at. And it's not Brenton Strange this week, folks. And watch this be the week that he goes off. I'll have to bite my words. But I think Brenton Strange and T-Law is dust. Kate Otten's interesting at 1%. I don't mind that play. Where's he? Where's John? John Smith, 2% ownership, $3,600. He's my favorite spin down this week. I was really thinking about this kind of heavy this week. Kind of thinking what this Steeler game, Patriot game produces here. So, you know where Jonnu Smith was playing with a terrible head coach under the helm? They're in Atlanta, and they used him a lot in Atlanta. So I really like Jonnu's. That's Arthur Smith we're talking about for the Steelers offense coordinator. Jonnu, definitely a good play there at $3,600. Seems like Rodgers really likes those tight ends in Pittsburgh, so I don't mind Jonnu. I think he's a smash spot. Hunter Henry's always in play for me. I love that guy. He always produces. He's awesome cash game. Tight end. Hawkinson's a no for me this week. Jawan's a yes. He's a pretty good tight end there. Jake Ferguson's awesome too at 10%. Good game environment. I kind of lean the game goes under, but I don't know. I think it could just be kind of a bomb for everyone. But Jake Ferguson, if you're wanting that leverage, in that game, that's how you do it. You get a piece of that. You get a piece there. You don't need to full on games onslaughts. But yeah, like I said, Jake Ferguson's awesome. Brock Bowers, really like him. Tucker Kraft's probably a no for me. If he's not in the game, I don't think he'll play. I guess you can mention Warren. The work usage is there. He's leverage off of. I don't even want to say he's leverage because he's 14% owned. He's too high for me. I don't really want to get there at 14% ownership. I'll stick to these cats. Dallas Goedert's interesting at 37 on your Hertz stack, so I don't hate that play at 2%. Definitely a GPP type of play. No one really else that we like. And so we'll kind of. I was on Gesicki last week and he didn't do nothing. Honorable mention, we'll say it. I just want to say it every week. Mike Gesicki for the gritty. Maybe an anytime touchdown, probably a better bet there. But he's an honorable mention. You can throw him into your GPP mega type plays. Don't hate it. Don't love it. It's a meh play. I like Gesicki, but who knows? So defense. Who are we on this week? It's a coin flip. I've kind of been tangled. 49ers at 1% is interesting at home against the Cards. Yeah, that's really my favorite play. If I had to say a close second for a punt type of option, um, Jags is interesting at 28. Bears are a no. Texans are okay at 27. It's a pretty good defense. Um, yeah, I don't really think of anything else. That's super interesting. You could say the Jets maybe, but they're going to be kind of owned. $2,200 punt. You don't hate that. Browns, of course, always in play for a punt. If you're looking for a punt, I like this Saints or Jets play. Either one of those are fine for me. Maybe the Bengals because I hate Carson Wentz. Yeah. So coin flip there this week on defense. Play who you want. Play where you can fit your lineup. I don't think it doesn't matter to me as much. Some people go super in depth on these. I think it's random anyhow. So all you need is one of those guys to get a touchdown at $2,200. So yeah, don't hate the plays, but it's whatever for me. So if you guys really enjoyed this video, we'll keep doing these. I really enjoy writing them down and kind of what I'm looking at for these off the wall 505 plays. If you guys will join us tomorrow at 10 o'clock, that'd be awesome. We'll be answering questions, going through the chat. Really look forward to seeing you guys. Hopefully you guys do good this week. So best of luck. Yeah, with that being said, that'll be the end of the video. Peace.